I'm Jon Hillcock, this is the Virgin Red Room, and I'm very pleased to say we are joined here exclusively by the Leisure Society. We have Nick and Christian and Sebastian. Thank you very much for coming in and giving us a song. We've just had Dust On The Dancefloor perform for us in this sort of small bunker in London. Fantastic song from the brand new album Into The Murky Water, which is about to hit the shops imminently, your second album. Is this an exciting time for the Leisure Society, Nick?
It's exciting, yeah, a little bit terrifying as well. You know, it's second album, so there's all the kind of pressure of a second album. But we can't wait to get on the road. We're looking forward to actually breaking out into the big wide world.
Yeah, I mean, how long have these songs been in existence? I mean, was it a really particularly different approach on this album to the first?
It was, I guess, yeah, because the first one was just a very slow process. Some of the songs were written over a course of years, whereas this was all written in a 1 year period pretty much. A few little ideas left over from the last album that we've developed, but yeah, it's written for about a year, and then I finished off the lyrics as we were recording it.
So is it easier in a way making the album in a kind of smaller time constraint? Is the product more coherent body of work, would you say?
I would say it exactly as you just did. It is a more coherent body of work, because like everyone's first album is a best of your progressive, formative years, and ours was no exception, although we'd both been about a dozen bands before. But this is the first record I've ever done that is a coherent body of work, and it feels like that, and touring it feels like that as well.
Is there a theme running through the album in particular?
It's quite nostalgic, I guess, because I've spent so many years playing in unsuccessful bands and doing day jobs, and now it's kind of it's looking back on that period and realising it was a kind of formative period. It wasn't all wasted time, although it felt like it at the time. But I would say that was the theme, just looking back.
Okay, so you've now given up the day job, as
yes.
it were. How long has that? It's been a couple of years.
2
now,
years, yeah. It basically coincided with starting the album.
Does that mean it gets a bit boring, a bit of a drag? Now it's the day job, because I mean, people say that, don't you? Don't do the things you love as a job, because you'll end up hating it. Is there any danger of that?
Definitely not. No, I mean, it's like having a job and a hobby all wrapped up into one. So it's like I work.
Jobby.
Yeah. I wouldn't have called it that, but yeah.
None of this can be bought. None of this can be sold. Safe in the frame.
The new album is called Into the Murky Water. It suggests the album's going to be darker, and people were saying that, but to my ears, it doesn't sound. I mean, lyrically, there are dark areas, I suppose, but is it a darker album than the first? Would you say, Nick?
Probably, yeah. I don't know. We thought it was going to be really dark when we were writing it, but then when we played it to people, they were like, "That's really uplifting."
I think songs start dark on this album, like the first and last track start quite dark, but then we can't help ourselves. The way Nick writes, as a musician, you just have these opportunities to just be joyous, and everyone's such a good player in the band that the album ends up just having these fireworks that are quite joyful, even though lyrically it's probably darker than anything Nick's ever done.
It's a really hard thing to nail, isn't it? Writing an album that is upbeat and life-affirming and really joyful, but not cheesy. And I think you managed to pull that off. Is that ever a conscious thing? Do you ever do something that maybe a chord progression or something that is just too cheesy, or is that
sometimes Baz throws the Crosby, Stills and Nash harmony in, and even though they're amazing, we'll just go, "Oh no, pull that one. That's a step too far."
Lost of poison addiction, this phantom life is cast aside at the moment.
People have said that you're the British equivalent of Grizzly Bear or Fleet Foxes or someone like that. Does that sort of thing annoy you? Or
it doesn't annoy me. It's great. It's really nice, but I don't see it myself at all.
We'd already made the first record when we heard that record, so it's more coincidental than inspirational.
The song you've performed for us exclusively on the Red Room is Dust on the Dancefloor. Now, my own I guess grasp of the song, is it about commitment in relationships and marriage, and maybe on, I don't know. What is the song about?
It is kind of about that. It's about the kind of cycle of relationships that kind of have gone on in my life. But it's all about a kind of when I'm single, I kind of go out dancing and getting wasted and having fun, and then as soon as I'm in a relationship, I just want to be on my own and play guitar or even be sad. It's about that. It's about that cycle, and it's kind of written from the perspective of a man, a miserable, lonely old bachelor on his deathbed, looking back on that. So it's
okay. So that's what we're talking about: the darker lyrics with the uplifting melodies.
Exactly.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for coming in today. It's really good to meet you, and thanks for the session too.
Thank you.
Cheers, John.